Have you been waiting and wondering whether your Social Security check, your SSDI or SSI benefit, or even your VA payment is finally going to get that much-needed boost? Well, today the wait is over because fresh news has just come out and the Federal Reserve along with updated government reports have confirmed that a significant pay increase and stimulus-related adjustment is on the way. Millions of Americans have been asking, how much will I get? When will I see it? And who exactly qualifies? In this detailed update, we are going to break down everything that just came through. From the official confirmation of a Social Security pay boost to the latest stimulus update that impacts retirees, disabled beneficiaries, low-income seniors, and veterans. Make sure you watch carefully, because every detail could affect your pocket directly. For years now, Social Security has been the backbone for retirees, for people who worked their whole lives and contributed into the system, for those living with disabilities relying on SSDI, for low-income individuals and families on SSI, and for veterans who have given their service and are relying on VA benefits. And every single year the same question comes up, is the cost of living going to crush these benefits? Or will there be a fair increase to keep up with inflation and the economic pressures that millions are facing? Over the past few months, inflation data, Federal Reserve announcements, and budget debates in Washington have all been shaping the outcome of what kind of pay boost beneficiaries could realistically expect. And now, with today's confirmation, we finally have clearer answers. The latest announcement confirms that Social Security beneficiaries will see a pay boost, and this is directly connected to the Federal Reserve's assessment of inflation and cost of living pressures. The Fed has been under immense pressure to balance interest rates with the needs of households that are increasingly struggling. While they had initially tightened financial conditions to fight inflation, the truth is that millions of seniors and disabled individuals simply cannot stretch their checks the way they used to. Rent is higher, groceries are higher, medical costs are higher, and without an increase, many are left choosing between food, medicine, or utilities. That is why this confirmation of a raise is such a critical lifeline. But that's not all. Alongside this Social Security pay boost, the latest stimulus-related update has also been confirmed. Many of you have been following the ongoing debates about whether a new round of stimulus or relief checks would ever happen again. And while we may not be looking at the same kind of nationwide universal stimulus as we saw in 2020 or 2021, what has just been confirmed is a more targeted relief effort aimed at seniors, SSDI, SSI, and veterans. This means that if you are in one of these groups, the combination of a Social Security increase plus the confirmed targeted stimulus program could bring meaningful extra dollars to your bank account in the coming months. Let's talk about numbers, because that's what everybody wants to know. According to the latest figures released, the Social Security Administration will be applying an increase that translates to an average of more than $100 extra per month for most beneficiaries. For some, particularly those on the lower end of the benefit scale, the raise could feel even more impactful, as a percentage of their monthly check. For example, if someone is receiving around $1,200 a month, a $100 to $120 increase is nearly a 10% bump in take-home pay, which is significant when you are counting every dollar to cover bills. For veterans relying on VA benefits, the news is equally important. The update confirms that the pay boost will extend across the VA system, aligning increases with what Social Security and SSI beneficiaries are receiving. This ensures fairness and parity, acknowledging the sacrifices of veterans who are often hit just as hard by inflation and rising costs as any other group. Veterans groups have been lobbying hard for this adjustment, and today's announcement delivers on that advocacy. Now when we talk about SSDI and SSI, the groups most sensitive to cost of living changes, the confirmation is especially important. People on SSDI are often living with limited mobility or health challenges, which means higher medical and care expenses. An extra $100 a month can directly translate into better nutrition, paying for transportation to doctor's appointments, or covering medications that otherwise might be skipped. For SSI recipients, who by definition are living with very low incomes, even a modest boost can mean the difference between stability and severe hardship. And with the stimulus update layered in, SSI recipients could be among those seeing the fastest and most tangible impact in their wallets. What about the timeline? According to the information provided, the increases are set to roll out with the upcoming payment cycle, which means beneficiaries won't have to wait a full year. The federal confirmation indicates that seniors will begin noticing larger deposits starting as soon as the next few months, with many expecting to see changes in their direct deposits by the end of this quarter. For the stimulus-related component, the rollout could be staggered, with targeted payments being distributed depending on category, Social Security first, then SSDI and SSI, and veterans following based on agency coordination. So how is this all being funded, and why now? That's the big question many skeptics have. The Federal Reserve's role is primarily in setting policy that reflects inflation data, but the actual distribution of funds comes through congressional appropriations and budget authority. The push for this increase came after months of data showing that while inflation has cooled compared to the peaks of 2022, the cost of essentials remains much higher than before. Seniors and disabled Americans were being squeezed the hardest, and lawmakers recognized that without an adjustment, poverty among retirees and low-income groups would sharply rise. By confirming this pay boost now, and pairing it with targeted stimulus measures, the government is signaling that it cannot afford to neglect this large population any longer. Let's address what everyone is asking: how much exactly will you get? For the average retiree on Social Security, the increase translates to around $140 more per month. For SSDI recipients, it will vary, but many can expect between $100 and $120 increases. For SSI, the change could be slightly smaller in raw dollar terms but more impactful in proportion to their total check. VA beneficiaries will see a similar percentage raise to maintain parity across systems. On top of this, the targeted stimulus program being layered in will provide a one-time bonus-style payment in the range of $600 to $1,400 depending on eligibility. While this is not a recurring monthly stimulus like some had hoped for, it is a significant relief measure nonetheless. It's important to highlight that not everyone will qualify for every part of this package. For instance, higher-income Social Security recipients may still receive the COLA-based increase but might not be included in the targeted stimulus component. Meanwhile, SSI and lower-income retirees are expected to be prioritized for the one-time relief. Veterans across the income spectrum are likely to be included, given the nature of VA benefits, but final implementation details will determine the scope. The key takeaway is that nearly all beneficiaries in the SSA, SSDI, SSI, and VA categories will see some form of direct financial improvement as a result of today's confirmation. The reaction so far has been overwhelmingly positive. Advocacy groups for seniors, disability rights organizations, and veterans associations have all celebrated the news, pointing out that this is the kind of lifeline people have been waiting for. For months, there had been growing frustration that while Wall Street and corporations seemed to be doing fine, the people who built this country and those living on fixed incomes were being left behind. Today's announcement changes that narrative, at least for the short term, by delivering tangible dollars to the people who need them most. On the other side, some critics argue that raising Social Security benefits and issuing stimulus-style payments could fuel inflation again. They claim that putting more money into the system while the Fed is still balancing interest rate decisions could undermine economic stability. However, the counter-argument, and the one the Fed itself appears to endorse, is that the scale of these increases is targeted, limited, and aimed directly at those who are least likely to drive inflation. Seniors and low-income individuals do not use extra funds to speculate or drive luxury demand, they use it for essentials like food, rent, and medicine. In fact, this spending tends to stabilize communities and support local businesses rather than destabilize the broader economy. Think about the daily reality for a retiree on a fixed income. Prices for groceries are up nearly 20% compared to just a few years ago. Rents have soared. Utility bills fluctuate but remain stubbornly high. Even gas, though lower than peak levels, is still elevated. When you're living on a $1,200 or $1,500 monthly check, those extra costs can break your budget. This is why the confirmed pay boost is not just symbolic, but life-saving for many. It's about dignity in retirement, the ability to cover basic needs without begging family members or cutting essential medications in half. Veterans in particular have been outspoken about the challenges they face, from rising medical co-pays to the cost of adaptive equipment and transportation. Today's confirmation that VA benefits will see a raise matching Social Security increases ensures that these individuals, who already sacrificed so much, won't be left behind. It reinforces the message that the country recognizes their contribution and is willing to back that recognition with real support. Looking forward, many are asking if this boost is just a one-time adjustment or part of a longer-term trend. Based on the Fed's projections and the budget negotiations currently underway, it looks like this is more than a temporary bump. The structure of Social Security COLA adjustments means that the baseline for future years is permanently raised. In other words, once your benefit goes up, it does not come back down. So while the stimulus-related component may be a one-time event, the Social Security pay boost itself becomes the new normal going forward. That means the extra $100+ each month is not just for now, but for the rest of your life as a beneficiary. For those worried about the solvency of Social Security or whether these boosts put the program at risk, it's worth noting that discussions about the Social Security Trust Fund have been ongoing for decades. Yes, reforms will eventually be needed to secure the system for future generations, but the current boost is considered sustainable within the existing framework, especially as it is tied to COLA calculations. The targeted stimulus, being a one-time measure, does not create long-term liabilities in the same way. If you're wondering how to make sure you get your increase and whether you need to apply, the answer is simple: no. You do not need to take any special action. If you are already receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, your increase will be automatic. Your direct deposit or paper check amount will adjust without you filing any additional paperwork. For the stimulus-related payment, the process may involve verification of eligibility, but again, it will be handled through the same agencies already paying your benefits. The government wants to avoid confusion and ensure the process is as smooth as possible. So what should you expect in the weeks ahead? First, keep an eye on official notices from the Social Security Administration and the VA. These will outline exactly how much your new benefit will be and the date it takes effect. Second, watch for news on the targeted stimulus rollout, as the Treasury will likely release a schedule similar to past relief checks. And third, be cautious of scams. Every time there's news of increased benefits or stimulus payments, scammers appear pretending to offer faster access or special processing. Remember, you never need to pay to receive your rightful benefits. Only rely on official channels like SSA, Gov, VA, Gov, or Treasury updates. This is without a doubt one of the most important updates for seniors, disabled individuals, and veterans in recent years. The confirmed pay boost ensures stability and fairness in the face of rising costs, and the added stimulus component provides an immediate shot of relief. Millions will breathe a sigh of relief as they see their bank balances reflect these changes. It is a reminder that your voices, your advocacy, and your patience matter. In closing, this Social Security pay boost and stimulus update is more than just numbers on a page. It's about people, families, and communities. It's about making sure that those who worked hard, those who sacrificed, and those who are most vulnerable are not left behind. As the Fed confirms these raises and the government prepares to distribute them, beneficiaries everywhere should feel a renewed sense of hope and security. And while challenges remain, today's news is proof that change is possible, and that relief is real. So stay tuned, stay informed, and most importantly, know that your benefits are not only safe but growing. The future may still hold uncertainties, but with this confirmed increase and stimulus update, millions of Americans can breathe a little easier tonight.